where you've been, what you've done, and what you have done to you. You are the part of the journey that God knew. So he had a master, he had 3 servants, and he gives to each servant talents. The talents and the abilities God has given you is currency in the kingdom. And he gives them money, and each one gets a different amount according to the ability that they have. In other words, each person is accountable not to what everybody else has, but what you have. So he goes on this journey. He gives them each talents according to their abilities. And then he goes away, and after a while he comes back, and he immediately comes back, and he says, I want to see what you've done with what I gave you. So he who had received 5 talents came and brought 5 other talents, saying, Lord, you delivered to me 5 talents. Look, I have gained 5 more talents besides them. And his Lord said to him, well done, good and faithful servant. You are faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things. Enter into the joy of your Lord. He also, who had received 2 talents, came and said, Lord, you delivered to me 2 talents. Look, I have gained 2 more talents besides them. And his Lord said to him the same thing he said to the guy with the 5 talents. Then he who had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. And I was afraid and went and hid your talent in the ground. Look, there you have what is yours. But look at what Jesus says to this guy. In verse 26, but the Lord answered and said to him, you wicked and lazy servant. Now, in the dictionary, I looked it up. The word wicked means bad character. Now, we all know that. Bad character. But the second definition for it is troublemaking and annoying. And he looks. And he calls this servant. He says, in my house, you cause me trouble, and you are annoying to me. Your attitude annoys me. Think about that. And then he calls him lazy. And the dictionary says lazy is slothful, but lazy is also backwards. Lazy means to be backwards. In other words, you're working against the flow. Everyone's going forward, you're going backwards. You're not working it. You're not working with the program. You are going against the grain. And he looks and he tells this servant, you know how things run in my house. Because he gave them the talents, he immediately left. He didn't give them a seminar. They had to go by what they knew about him. And the first 2 guys, they knew him. And they said, this is an investor. He is somebody who maximizes the capacity of what he's been given. So we should maximize the capacity of what we've been given. And they go out and they maximize it. But the last guy, listen, he saw the same things the other 2 saw. He saw that he reaps where he doesn't sow. He saw that this man gathers from where he didn't lay down or plant. So he knows that this master is somebody who multiplies himself. But because he knows about him, but he doesn't really know him, he misinterprets what he wants. And he judges what the master wants against his own insecurities. And he says, I am not capable of doing that. What is my one going to accomplish anyway? That word faithful also has a second meaning that doesn't mean just trustworthy. Faithful also means, and you can look this up for yourself, it means easily persuaded. A faithful servant immediately does what the master tells him to do without fighting back. Because he is easily persuaded by the master to do what's right. As soon as the master says it, because he trusts the master, he trusts the instruction. And when the master says, this is what you do to be prosperous, they immediately do it, easily persuaded in their heart. But the last servant wasn't easily persuaded. He fights against it. He struggles against it. We have created a generation in American church in which it is okay to fight with God and brag about it. I'm just stubborn. Oh, God's just having to work on me a little bit longer. Oh, I can just be a little hard-headed. God knows it. That's why I have His grace. And we have made it a badge of honor to act like being stubborn and disobedient to God for our own ego or our own pride's sake as a badge of honor, as if that's what God wants in us. But God looks at that servant and He says, you are annoying and you are backwards to me.